Hi everyone, it's Jackie Schomburg-Abstract. I thought it was time for an update on the 100-day project. I am behind. That's the main update. Um, this video shows the process of making days 29 through 43. I should be on day 50 something, but who's counting? I'm just going to keep going. And the thing I wanted to share with you today is that this project, among other things in my life, but this project is the easiest place for me to see that I'm learning to trust myself more, which is always, I think it's always a challenge. I think it's just a thing. Maybe just for me, maybe for others, but using just a few pieces of collage each time I sit down to make collage paper, sorry, a couple pieces of collage paper when I sit down to make a collage, and not intentionally not overthinking it. I am huge into overthinking, and I've been resisting that, and I've been successfully resisting that almost every collage. So this one, I kept thinking I'm going to add one more piece, and then I thought, just that teeny little green one, perfect, done. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. This is, I think, the theme of this channel for the last 2 years. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. And honestly, I was just saying this to the folks in my Collage Paper 101 workshops this weekend. It doesn't even matter all that much if I love it or if anyone else loves it. I just want to put things together in a way that I think is interesting because that is what inspires me. So it doesn't need to be something that's all ready to tie up in a little red bow and present to anyone. I'm just interested in finding out what is interesting to me, quite frankly. Sounds a little self-serving, but it is. If I'm not making things that are truly interesting to me, how can I possibly ask anyone else to be interested in them? And how could I continue to make those things if I'm not even interested in them myself? So I think from a creativity standpoint, if the artist is interested and they are inspired to keep working, in this case me, I'm inspired to keep making these because each one is an exercise in learning what I find interesting, different combinations of things I'm enjoying, and learning to trust myself that I don't need anyone else to approve of those choices. I just need to commit and trust my instincts and my intuition that, hey, I'm going to do this. Like right here, these windows, that little scrap of pink painted paper, and the scratch paper next to it that I've turned into collage paper. That's the part of this that makes this original art. No one can replicate this because I've used something of my own in the collage paper, some collage paper that I've made, which kind of is a 1-2 punch of originality. So not only is the way I'm arranging these papers, general magazine collage papers, unique to me, but it's much, much, much more unique to me because I'm also including in a lot of these my own collage papers. This one in particular is a 100% collage papers that I've made. So the black and white was from a jelly print. The red actually was also, it's red with some purple in it. And I think actually the tissue is as well. So these are all jelly printed papers that I've made in the past. This 100% is something that someone else couldn't do on their own because they specifically don't even have the materials I used. And it's not about only being original, because I don't remember who said it, but someone said that there is no more art to be, made out of anything. There's no more pure art that isn't impacted and, um, uh, what's the word? I don't know. All art is reminiscent of something else. We all are influenced by it, by other things in the world, to bring colors together. Here's the colors of the sunset. Let me try using this. Here's, someone's beautiful hair color. Let me use this in my neutral. Something like that. There's kind of no purely inspired by nothing art. It all mixes in our minds and our consciousness as some sort of melting pot where we've seen all these other things of input that have come in. We've seen the different marketing ads. We've seen different color combinations in life and decorations and beaches and sunsets and flowers. But that was a little bit, I don't know, theoretical for a minute. But I think it's so interesting that the combination of collage scraps that we choose as artists further cement our style in whatever direction we're going in. And if we can add our own papers that we've made, no matter how simple it is, just using a striped piece of paper or that white that's the butcher paper that I have underneath my desk to protect it, or that little stripe, that little strip of black and white stripes. If I can use that and other papers that I've made, many of them a bit haphazardly and freely, so I get some great energy marks in them, it just it'll set your art apart even more than just the combination of things you include. It also gives you a whole bunch of insight into what you like. I've made tons of collage paper in the past. There are some pieces that I continually overlook. Every single time I'll come across the same kind of, whether it's the colors that I'm just skipping over, whether it's the patterns, whether it's the stencil I didn't like because it was a little bit too crisp, or something like that, too machine made that it turns me off a bit. The choices that I make and the things I choose to include, the colors I choose to include, the shapes I choose to include, all those little decisions, that's what makes your creative style. And those are the things to pay attention to when you're working. And that's the reason that it's important to make a lot of art. So again, this 100-day project, the more things I make, the more input I get into what attracts me in combining things together. And the more practice I get at combining things together, the more choices I make, and the more practice I get, and the more of my style, all the sum of the choices that I make sum up to be what my creative style is, my artistic style. This fun fact, that's actually a blue shop towel that has a ton of gloss medium. When I was wiping off my color shaper, and then I thought it looked kind of cool, so I cut it out and added it to this. Again, very unique. Again, you may not love it, and that's okay. It was interesting to me at the time, and now it's a little time capsule, something I thought was interesting on the day. I'm loosening up and not worried so much now about needing to like something forever. I used to think I had to love it forever. And maybe I'll feel that way again. But for right now, I think a lot of the benefits of this project, to make something every day for 100 days, is to just make the thing. Don't overthink it. Don't try to make something that you're going to love forever. Just keep showing up, because the more you show up, the more practice you get showing up, the more it becomes a habit. And again, it's really taught me that I don't need to overthink everything. I can put things together and not understand why I like things together. It's almost an afterthought. It's all about doing the thing. And I'm very proud of myself that now I'm 43 days into doing the thing, and I will make it to all 100 days. Just might not be the same timing as everyone else's 100 days. I also find that I'm learning that I really like things that are obscured a bit from what they once were. So that blue collage piece was some sky, and it's turned sideways right now, but I even don't even remember what the actual picture was. So these walnuts, I can see what they are. The tea bag, I can understand what that is, or the tea bag, pouch. But in some of my other ones, I really enjoy it when I can crop something enough that it looks like it's unidentifiable. It's not at all clear what it was. Even these black and white stripes. So that's a striped dog dish. You can see it says woof on the piece I cut off. And I love that I can just repurpose it and make it a jumble of black and white stripes that just is interesting to me. So this is all of this set of collages. I hope you're enjoying this project. If you are also doing this project, I would love to know how it's going for you. Are you behind also? Definitely tell me if you're behind also, because I'd love some company. And if you are not behind, extra kudos for you, extra gold stars. Let us know what you're doing. Let me know what your hashtag is if you have one for your project, because I'd love to follow along. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week.